Hello, hello learners. Welcome back to our seventh class for your power batch, which started on February 10th. And here we are on 24th March with straight seventh class for our power batch. Please quickly let me know in the chat if I am audible and if you all can see me clearly. Okay, all right. So I'm going to share my screen with you all. And today, as mentioned, as you all can see on the thumbnail, as well as the description, today's class will be A-star criteria for source evaluation. In the previous class, we had discussed about how to get an ace, how to identify the right sources for your individual research report. And in today's class, we will be understanding what are the A-star criterias for your individual research report. I'll be quickly sharing my screen with you all. Just give me a moment. I hope I'm clearly audible. Okay, please let me know if you all can see my screen now. Okay. So my screen is clearly visible. Now we are going to start with A-star criteria for source evaluation today. In the previous class, we had discussed what are the different types of sources that you must be focusing on collecting for your individual research report. In today's class, we are going to focus on source evaluation. I have basically picked today's class straight away from your learner's guide, the title is, and from your learning objectives, which every learner should be aware of, the skills that we need to develop for writing. So basically, skill that we need to develop for evaluation and analysis of different sources. All right. There are rules for my class. Okay, guys, if I'm not audible, please do let me know in the chat. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Now, the first rule of my class is for next 60 minutes, my class goes on around up till maximum 60 minutes. Please make sure you turn off all the distractions around you. Watch this class on laptop or tablet, please do not. If you are using phones for viewing my classes, you will end up getting too distracted during the lessons. And if you are using phone right now, please switch to laptops or your tablets. Third, ask questions. I am actively going through all the chats, so feel free to ask all the questions, queries, take notes, and all the assignments given in today's class you will need to complete and upload it on Google Classroom. I review all the assignment. I go through all the assignments, but for the feedback, as many at least the top 3 top 4 students who submit on time, I give the feedback on Google Classroom. It helps you to practice whatever we are doing in today's class very well. All right, now, okay, so guys, before I start with my lecture, I want to also help you understand. So if you are viewing all the lessons for Global Perspective Power Batch, see, there is a way to prepare for your exams. Now, one way is randomly viewing the classes, practicing it at home, and the other way is getting structured help. So, my mission is to help you in a structured way to get an A star. And while I was designing this structure for my learners, I broke it down into 3 important levels. The first level is the foundation level. The second level is application level. The third level is creation level. So this is tested by, so after teaching this subject for almost more than 10 years now, I have tested this on my learners, and what I have realized is each and every learner who is following these 3 levels to the core will definitely get a grade jump minimum. And if you are putting in that efforts, you will see significant, remarkable improvements in your global perspective grades. Okay, so the first level that we will be focusing on, that is your foundation level. Everything related to foundation level I complete in Tuesday's YouTube live classes, that is IGCSE Global Perspective Power Batches. What is my focus for these Tuesday's class? 1, I want concept clarity. 2, I will be helping every learner understand the mark schemes clearly, break down different vocabulary and question types, and build academic vocabulary. That is going to be today's focus. Now, to join these foundation classes, what you have to do is simply subscribe to the channel, put that notification button on, and you will be notified through YouTube notification about today's class. Okay. The second level is your application level. Whatever learnings we have learned in foundation level, we will be able to apply it during our Saturday's members exclusive classes. Okay, now these classes are slightly more narrowed and focused batch, wherein I actually know who all are there. I know the names of my learners. I also know the names of my learners in live streaming in during Tuesday's class, but I have observed personally the level of dedication is little lower for Tuesday's class, and the level of dedication for Saturday's classes are little higher, because yes, you have invested your a small amount of money and your time and energy. That is a small investment that you have done, which psychologically improves the level of dedication. In these batches, we focus on members exclusive full answer breakdown. We focus on worksheet practice. We focus on examiner style marking, and we basically go through your application based learning. Okay. Now the third level is, okay, to join this application level, what you have to simply do is, next to the subscribe button you can see join button. You have to click on join button. Once you click on that join button, you will be able to view all the members exclusive lessons in members only tab. So if you go on my homepage, you will find members only tab, and you will be able to see all the application level lessons. That is level 2. And the third level is your, okay, so here you can see the join button arrow. The third level is A Star Legacy Batch. Now these are my live online batches. Obviously I have narrowed it even more, and in these batches I have limited number of learners, and here we basically do the hand holding to A Star and A in global perspective. These are focused, rigorous batches. The level of commitment that every child needs to give in these batches is pretty high. We have only 5 to 6 learners in one single batch, and these batches are conducted live on Google Meet. That is how we conduct these batches. Now, to join these batches, you can drop a WhatsApp on this number, all the details. You can coordinate with the team, and you will get all the details with respect to A Star, to enroll in A Star Legacy Batch. I hope I'm clear until here. Now let's start with learning objectives. So student will be able to, what are we going to focus in today's class? Analyze what a source or a process is saying or showing. Now this is assessment objective 1 that we are targeting, and it will be useful in your individual report, team project, and as well as your 20 markers or 8+ mark question in your written paper, wherein you are supposed to analyze what source process is showing. Second is evaluate whether it is trustworthy or useful. Now, many a times I see learners getting confused between these two words. The first word being analysis, and the second word is evaluate. Please let me know in the chat what is the difference between both the words. Difference between analyze and evaluate. Yeah. Let me know in the chat what is the difference between analyze and evaluate. We see these keywords many times in our global perspective question paper. Okay. Or is your, okay, in the first stalwarts batch, that is your Saturday's members exclusive batch, we are going to cover the next part, that is the application part of the learning that we are going to cover today. That is, use your evaluation to support an argument and final outcome. Write in an exam report style using clear templates. So I will be sharing clear templates. We will be practicing few questions during our Saturday's members exclusive batch. So once you watch today's class, you learn from it, you finish your assignment, submit it in the Google Classroom, join Saturday's class to make sure you are completing the overall teaching learning process for this particular learning objective. Okay. So starting with the first word, that is analyze. We come across this word many times in your global perspective question paper. One major observation that I have personally done is there is a clear confusion amongst learners between the words analyze, and explain. So let me help you clear this misunderstanding. So first, when we talk about the word analyze, it means explain what it means. That is, identify main claims and key evidence. What do you mean by claims? Claims means anything a person is stating based on their personal belief or vested interest. That is a claim. Okay. So main claim is, okay, I can write it. It can be in the form of data, facts, figures, numbers from the sources. So identify the main claim, that is your first step. Spot patterns, that is examples. We will understand how to spot patterns in different sources. What is the exact formula to spot a pattern? Okay. Identify assumptions, what the sources processes is taking for granted. Now, why is it important to identify assumptions over here? This helps us figure out the weaknesses of the source or the claim. Okay, and explains so what, why it matters for the question. These are the keep in mind whenever you see the word analyze. Analyze basically means what it means. So you will first identify the main claims. You should be able to identify the strengths and weaknesses, and more, while you identify it, you should be able to explain why. So one simple word I would give you for the word and analyze is explain why. Now the next word is how. Let's first understand how will a learner start sentence wherever he or she or they wants to show analysis. The first word, the sentence could be the main claim is, the evidence shows, this suggests that, and the key assumptions. I will request all my learners to make a small template bank in your notebooks. Write down these templates that I give you, because these templates will help you frame a better answer, in a better response in global perspective. Okay, so moving on to the next word, that is evaluate. So when you talk about evaluation, what comes to your mind? Evaluation means very simple thing, weighing pros and cons, that's all. Evaluation is always related to numbers. Evaluation is always, it basically weighs the quality and the usefulness of the claim. Let me make it little more simple. Let me make, okay, so decide how reliable it is. How will you identify reliability of a source? One, when we talk about reliability, we focus on which, from where we have picked up the source. Do you remember in the last class we had understood different sources that you can use? Now in your written paper, they give you the sources in the insert. You have to look at the source and look at simple way to find out reliability. Very simple way. One, look at who has written that source. What is the credibility of that person? When it is written, and what it is trying to say. So when you answer these WH question, you will be able to clearly think about the reliability of the source, that whether I should trust this source or not. If you feel that, okay, this source is very old or outdated, Definitely you will not trust. If you talk about the source which is not recent, that is one. If you feel the author has not no credibility on that topic, you will not trust that source. So to find out the reliability of any source, you should ask these WH questions. Who has written, when it was written, what is written in it, and why. And when you answer these four WH questions, you will be also able to decide how useful and relevant this source is for the question. Even if after evaluation of these WH question, you will figure out, okay, this source is credible, this source is written by a good author, this source is reliable, but the next question is it relevant to the main question that's given in your paper? That is very, very important. So after this step, you will be focusing on, is it relevant in the main paper? If yes, if it is relevant for this question, then you will explain why it is relevant, what are the different features of the source, maybe the date, the source, the author, or of the source. And while you do, why I'm telling you to address limitations, because here you are not putting a preconceived thought about any question. Your idea over here is focusing on giving unbiased evaluation, and hence it's important to also talk about the limitations. Please let me know in the chat if it's clearly understood. If you have any questions, do ask me in the chat. If you want me to break it down into simpler sentences, simpler words, please let me know in the chat. All right. That was all about evaluation. Now, again, you will add this to your vocabulary bank, that your template bank. I would not say vocabulary, it's a template bank. These are some sentence starters to show your evaluation. The first one is, this is more or less reliable because. To confirm, I would check. So these are the sentence starters to use evaluation, to show that you have evaluated a particular source. I hope I'm clear until here. Now moving on to a very important evaluation tool that I'm going to give you in today's class. The name of that evaluation tool, or I would say the mnemonic of that evaluation tool, is ARC. ARC, ARC. Now, wherever you are supposed to evaluate, in fact, in your individual report also, you have one section wherein you evaluate the source. What are you going to focus on while you evaluate any source? That's very, very important. Now, the first thing that you will evaluate is accuracy of the source. How will you do that? Is it supported, evidence, detailed YouTube live session? If you have not gone through that class, please make sure to watch that lesson. So you will understand. Now, let's say if a source is given to you about climate change, what are you going to talk about? Are you able to evaluate? Is it accurate? Does it have evidence? There is a consistency. Okay, that comes under the accuracy. Authority means who wrote it. If the climate change is written by a person who is already working in a relevant department, Maybe you can consider a doctorate on climate change. Yes. A blogger authority goes a little lower. Or a blogger who has been consistently posting about climate change. Yes, because you have read his or hers or their different um, blogs. What is the expertise? Accountable organization. From which organization is it is coming? That needs to be taken into consideration. Currency. Is it recent enough for this issue? Now, if this issue is recent, but this report is 5-year old, definitely it won't make any sense to go through this report. And relevance. Does this answer the question for this context? Many times it fits 1, 2, and 3 criteria: accuracy, authority, and currency. But when it comes to relevance, it is not relevant enough, and hence learners end up writing evaluation which is irrelevant to the question. Okay, I hope I am very clear until here. Now, the next part we are going to focus on is one line rule for you all. Once you are doing any evaluation, link it back to the research question, and that is how you add on a great structure to your paragraph or to your answer. How many of you want to see how to do that? Let me know in the chat. Let's look at one example and see how to do it. Give me a thumbs up if you have understood everything so far. You want me to go back to any slide and explain it in different words or better words? Please let me know. All right. So, as I told you, I will be helping you and showing you how to use this strategy in your answers. That is how to evaluate, how to show evaluation and analysis in your answer. The first step is name the source. Like, this is a news article from BBC 2023. Then you will analyze. Analyze means either explaining it or breaking it down. To break it down, you can say it claims X, uses data Y, written for audience Z. Now, why it is important to analyze? Because as a reader or an examiner, it's important for the examiner to understand that you have that eye for detail, for the exact data from the source, and that is reflected in your analysis. Once you are done analyzing, you will evaluate. How will you evaluate? You will judge it using ARC strategy that we have seen. It's reliable because it's limited because I have given you few more templates for writing great answers, that it's more or less reliable because a limitation is I would use this with caution because to confirm I would check. These are different sentence starters you can use to show evaluation. And at the end, you will connect it to an argument. This supports my claim that, what's your claim? It supports that claim that you will talk about. Okay? Now, let's look at one example. So, example is climate change. Question is, should governments ban petrol cars by 2030? We will use this strategy to write an answer, identify, analyze, evaluate, and use to show a great evaluation. Let's see how to do that. First, let's look at the source given to you. It is Electric Cars, the Future is Now, published by Tesla Inc., website tesla.com, date 2023. Studies show electric cars reduce carbon emissions by 60%. Tesla's latest model travels 400 miles on a single charge. Government must act now to support EV adoption. Okay. Now over here, first identify. What is the identification that you all can see on the screen? That this article is from Tesla. Obviously, they are going to support electric cars because they manufacture electric cars. So there is some sort of vested interest. Date published is 2023. We are sitting in 2026. There might be more innovations that could have happened by now, which can challenge this thing, this model of Tesla that they have talked about. And government must act now to support EV adoption. Very vague statement is given over here. So how? Let me pick the most the strongest identification. That is, this is a company's article from Tesla's official website, published in 2023. Okay. Step 2 is analyze. It claims electric cars cuts emission by 60% and promotes government supports for EVs. It uses a statistics but does not say which study produced it. That's what. So if you look at the main source, which study, how can they claim that carbon emission is reduced by 60%? Which study is talking about it? That needs to be clearly mentioned. Next, you will also focus on third step strategies. Evaluate using ARC strategy: accuracy, authority, currency, relevance. Accuracy, not very accurate because statistic is given but no source named for it, so it is mixed. Authority is very weak because Tesla sells EVs and they benefit from this claim. Okay, currency is very strong because, okay, now in this case it was a previous paper question, so here in this, in 2026 it is published. It's slightly weaker because it's 3 years down the line now. Relevance, it's strong because it's directly about petrol car replacement. And that is how you will write down, okay, this is the ARC strategy. This is very, very helpful in your individual report evaluation part, wherein you are evaluating the sources. Now, how to see, first you are learning how to think. Once you learn how to think using a guided or a structured methodology, I will be teaching you how to execute it also. And to do that, you have to join my Saturdays classes that will help you in the execution part. So use it. How to use it? I would use this source to show only one perspective, that business cases for EV, but I would not use it as a neutral evidence base because Tesla has financial interest in promoting electric car. I would cross check 60,000 figure with a government or university report. And that is how you show a great evaluation. I hope this class was resourceful enough and you were able to understand what we were learning for evaluating and analyzing sources. What I want you all to do is now join the Google Classroom. Okay, I'll just share the link of Google Classroom, the code of Google Classroom over here. Okay, guys, I'm going to, I'll also put it in the description of this thing. this class, you can join this Google Classroom to access the assignment. But please only join if you're serious about uploading the assignment, solved assignment, because we have a limit of 250 learners only in the Google Classroom. Any inactive learner who is just there in the class, not interacting, not solving the work, will be eliminated from Google Classroom. Okay, we will be, because we need to make space for the ones who are serious about these A star legacy batches, or rather I would say who are serious about upgrading their scores or developing the right skills for global perspective. Okay, all right guys, we are done with today's class. We are going to now stop and see you in the next lecture this Sunday. Sorry, this Saturday's class. You will be able to see me in Saturday's class, wherein we are going to cover the next two learning objectives of how to use these learnings in your exam papers. Okay. See you. Take care. Bye bye.